What is going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekly Horsepower Hour. I am joined by Jeremy Sean of Broncos Unbridled, Kodiak of Kodiak Broncos, and Mark of Marquee Sports Denver. Our Broncos obliterated the Dallas Cowboys. It was a beautiful thing to see, guys. 44-24. We got a lot to get into. Before we get into stock up, stock down, let's do one round of giving our high level takeaway from this team. Let's start. Somebody who's been absent the last few weeks, and that is Kodiak. Lead us off, man. What is your first big takeaway from yesterday's throttling?
First big takeaway is welcome back, Bo Nix. Okay. You know, I was listening to something Jeremy said on his podcast yesterday. It's like, all right, you get dumped and then you go to the bar and then you got a couple girls checking you out. You know, that's how I felt about this Broncos offense, is that even though the Dallas Cowboys clearly an undermanned team, but we took advantage and the execution is what matters the most. And you know what? It's okay. Sometimes you just got to go to the bar and smash a 2 or a 3 to get over the mental hump of, you know, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what our Broncos were able to do yesterday. And ultimately, you know, this could be a huge launch pad going forward down the stretch for the rest of the season.
Wonderfully said. Mark, your takeaway from yesterday's game.
Yeah, most complete game of the season. Happy that it was against the Dallas Cowgirls. You know, it's a perfect segue because, you know, Kodiak had just said sometimes you got to smash a 2 or a 3. That's what we did. We smashed a 2 or a 3. And it's always nice. It's always nice beating the Cowboys. I don't really know what it feels like to lose to them, but, you know, I get sick of them calling themselves America's team and being really good at marketing, but they always lay out a trash product. And I don't know where they got – I don't know why. You know, you guys actually know why they're called America's team?
Because it's something with Roger Staubach? Like,
no, they're called America's team. I swear, this is true, because they have the most followers on Facebook. So,
well, they were called that before Facebook ever existed, though.
That's what I don't think so. I heard that because they have the most Facebook followers. I'm telling you. Anyways, regardless, if it's fake news, you guys can fact check me. But what I'm saying is that it was a very, very complete effort. No, but amazing overall to see from the team, man. It's exactly what we needed. And shout out to them rookies, man. The rookie class looked amazing. I think it's a great game to build off of.
I love it. I love that fact. Jeremy, what's your takeaway from yesterday's game?
Now, I'm not exactly sure. I said smash a couple or 2s or 3s. That's might be pushing it, but I know what you're saying. Here's the thing: a cowboy can't get very far without his horse, but horses can run go anywhere they want without a cowboy. So I don't know. I think they, you know, since 1995 we've owned them, and we continue to own them. If Vic Lombardi can call the Nuggets the Lakers daddy, I think we can call the Broncos the Dallas Cowboys daddy for sure. Yeah, man, it was just, I'll save it for later, but like, it's just getting to the point now where our team is week in and week out, like exceeding a lot of people's expectations, and we're just still not getting due credit, and we just got to be all right with that. So, but it's, you know, I'd rather be that than underachieving. You'd rather, you know, under promise and over deliver is how I always think about it. So,
Before I give my takeaway, I want to shout out the chat. You guys are always amazing. Y'all be sure to get involved in the chat, like, subscribe to all the channels. And guys, if you could do us a favor, man, most of Broncos country doesn't know about these wonderful gentlemen, plus myself. Share this on Reddit. Share it in your Denver Broncos Facebook groups. Please share the link. That helps us tremendously and grow Broncos country so that everybody can know that we root for America's team. But my big takeaway is our young guys. Our young guys are starting to peak at the right time, baby. It's a beautiful thing. We have Harvey scoring touchdowns. Troy Franklin scored in touchdowns. Jahdae Barron coming up with interceptions, man. It's nice to see this rookie class, Pat Bryant, getting his touchdown. It's great to see a dominating win, but it's like, who was a big part of doing that? And that's our young players. So love to see that. Guys, we're going to break down our stock up, stock down. Later on, we'll get into a different trade targets discussion, which should be a lot of fun. So y'all put your thoughts on that in the comments. But Mark, if it's okay with you, I want to lead off some stock up, stock down, and we can work our way around the horn, man. I'm sure we got a lot of stock ups, but give me a player, scenario, position group, whatever. Who is stock up on the Denver Broncos this week, baby?
I mean, the biggest one's got to be RJ Harvey, right? I mean, he looked phenomenal. You get 3 touchdowns. You're having a pretty damn good day. Love how they're utilizing him in the pass game as well, and in the Wildcat. It was awesome. That long touchdown run was beautiful. The offensive line, one of the most dominant pieces of film you'll ever watch. But great to see RJ Harvey go, man. He's a very important part of this team, and somebody that, God forbid, if JK ever goes down, you get terrified that who's going to carry the load. But it's good to see RJ showing some of that ability. So big stock up to RJ Harvey.
Beautiful, man. Yes. Best game of his short career so far. Kodiak, who you got, man?
So I've been very critical of this particular pick since we made it 6 months ago, and that's Jahdae Barron. And not only did you hear about Jake Ferguson all last week, because all these people were putting him in their national tight end day parlays or whatever, but the only time I heard his name was when he was targeted and Jahdae Barron picked him off, or when Jahdae Barron picked off Dak. But regardless, I was like, all right, coming into the week, I was like, Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams might go a little ham. And while Javonte Williams still got 2 touchdowns, A, he wasn't as effective on the ground, but B, we did a phenomenal job covering Jahdae Barron. And I mean, with Surtain potentially missing extended time, I mean, here you go. This is why you drafted Jahdae Barron. So we're going to get an extended look at him. But, you know, I never had an issue with the player, but I did have an issue with the pick, and I still kind of do. But ultimately, he made me look very silly yesterday. So hats off to Jahdae Barron. Absolutely incredible performance by him.
Jeremy, who you got?
Well, I got to continue the trend here. It's our other rookie, Pat Bryant. Man, he had a quote yesterday that he said, I'll sum it up basically because I can't remember it word for word, but telling the running backs, just whether you want to bounce it left or bounce it right, look for your boy in 13, and I'll make sure you get to the box. And he's just such a willing blocker, such a willing, just everything you want in that, you know, diva or wide receiver, such a diva position. And to have a guy who's just like takes pride in the blocking, and then to get that throw and catch that he made in that corner and just basically put him out of their misery before halftime. Man, that was just such a beautiful reward for him. And it just shows you the complete player he is and what a steal of a 3rd round pick he's going to be.
Well, I'll stick in the position group, Jeremy. And that's got to be freaking Troy Franklin. Led the team in receiving. Let me make sure I get this right. 6 receptions, 89 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. And guys, it wasn't just, you know, the stat line. It was the various routes he was running, right? He was getting his production in all sorts of different ways, you know, posts over the middle, man. A really nice route run in the end zone to get out of man coverage. Like, man, he was just all over the place. And people forget he's 6'3", man, and can break some ankles. So it was great to see Troy Franklin really step up, I think have the best game of his young career, and still put himself within striking distance of reaching 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, Kodiak. It's going to take some big games, but you're hoping that he can build off of this. I love what we saw out of Troy Franklin. Do I still want us to trade for Chris Olave? Absolutely. But maybe with how we're seeing Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, these guys kind of come around, maybe we can trade for somebody to help us out at a different position of need. No doubt about it. Yeah, let's continue on. Mark, what do you want to shout out?
It's tough, man, because there's a lot of guys. You know, there's a whole bunch of guys that I want to shout out in this one. I think we covered the main ones. I thought Evan Ingram yesterday was phenomenal. Just made big plays. He was really good in the run game, blocking too. Love to see that. But you know, we need to give this guy credit where credit is due. That's 2 games in a row now where Alex Singleton has been balling. All right, Let's not go any way around it. When Alex Singleton is not asked to cover a lot and is just playing the run, he's actually very good. And I thought he played awesome yesterday. I thought he should have played great. He laid the smackdown on Jaden Blue, popped the ball out. The refs didn't want to give us the recovery, whatever, no problem.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
As clear as day. And you can't challenge that. It's the dumbest rule, or you can, but it's never going to get overturned. So regardless, major props to Alex Singleton. And yeah, I mean, when going back to Jahdae Barron, dude, like, they held Jake Ferguson to 0 catches, 0 yards. And I went back and looked at it, and I counted 7 plays specifically where Jahdae Barron was lined up against Jake Ferguson when he was running a route, and he did not even give Dak Prescott like 1% of hope that the ball was going to throw there. So absolutely blanketed him. It wasn't just him. Brandon Jones did a great job. Some of the linebackers did a good job, but really, really good to see the Rook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kodiak, your turn, man.
All right. Well, I think one of my favorite plays of the season occurred yesterday. And how often do you see a big man dropping coverage? And how often do you see a guy just rumbling and stumbling on the interception return? Okay. That was absolutely phenomenal. And honestly, of all the guys in the edge room that I thought would be dropped into coverage, Dondrea Tillman was flat out the last one. Okay. Dondrea Tillman looks a lot bigger than he actually is. Like, I know he looks enormous, but he's only actually like 240, 250. But, that interception return was awesome. And it's a good reminder about how good of athletes these guys actually are. So shout out to him for actually making the play, because that was an important play. Okay. The Cowboys, they still had a little bit of life at that certain point, even though, they probably weren't going to come back. But at the end of the day, Dondrea Tillman was the nail in the coffin. And the fact that he was just rumbling and stumbling and he went out to midfield, that was absolutely awesome. Okay. I love that one. I love that play. That may have been one of my favorite plays of the entire season. It reminds me of, you guys remember Roach last year in New Orleans? Like he kind of, like he didn't get a PBU, but he like kind of got in the way of it. And he had the seatbelt celebration. Yeah. Then Dondrea Tillman postgame is like, if I ever get the ball, I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to house it. And I was yelling, like, I think we were all like, go down. Why are you not sliding? But, that created an awesome moment in Broncos country. So that's 2 really big picks in the past 2 weeks from guys who you probably wouldn't have expected. Okay. You probably would have expected PS2 or Moss or Jones or Hufanga to get, or McMillan to get a game-changing pick. But the past 2 weeks, it's been Strnad and Dondrea Tillman.
Jeremy, who you got?
Yeah, I think the cornerbacks still don't have a. Well, I guess Barron got one, so that's the first cornerback that has gotten a pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out. Well, one unbelievable. I think the whole offensive line played well, but Quinn Miners on that RJ Harvey run. If you haven't seen that highlight today, he had 3 pancakes in one play. It was insane. And that's just one of those where you just are like, if you're going to do that, I mean, we can all say, the Cowboys defense is not, the 85 Bears by any stretch with imagination, but that's a man who was just like putting it upon himself to put people on their backs. And you just got to love that. And doing it for the rookie to spring him and get him his first big run, that gives you so much confidence. So I love that play. And the other one I just want to say, and I kind of mentioned it yesterday out in the post game, but like, I really want to just like push this one home, is Sean Payton, the way that he understands how to push buttons on how to get this team to perform is like why he was worth the pick that you give up for him and why he's worth the contract. He understands what mentality happens to most teams right before they go to London or on the road at an early game, or what it's like when you're down in the third quarter, or what it's like to play after a big win. So apparently this week he took all of the games. I think teams were like 2-17 or something after a big major comeback win. So he had his video guys cut up all of the wins, the comeback wins, and then what happened the next week, just to point out. And that gave us the mentality of, we're not going to let that happen to us. And they came in with a purpose, and everybody was talking all that about how great the offense was to the Dallas Cowboys and how the Denver was going to look. And, are they going to exhale after that win and all that stuff? And they absolutely put it upon themselves and did not do that. And I give Sean Payton a lot of credit for that. That is where the coaching really pays off.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Sean Payton for my last, I guess, stock up that I got is that, he stuck with Bo Nix, even though he tried to throw a no-look pass at the beginning of the game. Why is he trying to be like Mahomes, dude? We don't need Mahomes. We need Bo Nix, dude. Bo Nix doesn't do that, man. But Bo Nix, stock up. He was fantastic. He shredded the Cowboys defense, as you should when you're a good quarterback in the NFL, man. He was making high-level NFL throws downfield. None of this stuff was gimmicky, man. You can put all that to bed. This might have been, in the words of Zach Seegers, his best performance of his career. It won't tell you that stat-wise, but the way in which we put up 44 points was beautiful. And Bo Nix, if I'm going to go ahead and blame you, for the Chargers, partially for the Colts loss, like all these sorts of things, got to give him credit when you blow out an opponent. And shout out to you, Kodiak, man. I totally forgot to mention this. Dude, you have existed in this world without the Dallas Cowboys beating the Denver Broncos. That's insane. You've lived your entire life now, man, so far without having the Cowboys ever beat the Broncos, man. It's like when the Ravens, I feel like they just always beat us, man. The Ravens always beat us. We're that same way for the Cowboys, man. We are absolutely that way.
And when we beat them, it takes 7 touchdowns from our quarterback.
That's right. Dude, that's like the only Baltimore win I can even think of was that week 1, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we have.
What about 2015?
No, actually, no.
What about 2015 week 1? What about 2015 week 1 when Darian Stewart got the pick?
That's right. Oh, that end zone pick. Yeah.
And the crazy thing too, man, in 2012, before they beat us in that unbelievably heartbreaking game, we demolished them in Baltimore. Chris Harris had a pick 6. We killed them. We got their offensive coordinator fired, and that ended up backfiring against us pretty badly. But so that was that one. But I hate the Ravens, man.
Yeah. We own the Browns, and then they moved to Baltimore, and then they own us.
Yes.
It's like, what's the deal?
Well, I guess kind of, I don't know, before we get into other discussion, any other big takeaways from this game? I know it wasn't like the last few games that we've had, guys, but yeah, if there's anything else that you just want to get off your chest, I feel like we've covered most of the winners. I wanted to shout out, to Palczewski, man. I thought that he played a good game. Again, this is the Dallas Cowboys, but he didn't look like a liability against the Dallas Cowboys. Same with Wattenberg, and so that's I want to give him stock up this week for that. Mm-hmm. But Jeremy, you got 2 things.
I got 2 more guys that I just want to give a quick shout out. J.K. Dobbins. I mean, it's now just becoming his normal thing, but the guy's just looking amazing, and I just like the character of this football team and the football character of this team and the actual individual character of this football team. He runs over a guy on the sideline and then stops and helps him up and gives that guy a huge thrill. Like, that was awesome. They just ran me over kind of move. And I just, he's just week in and week out, he's just balling and playing good. And then in the locker room afterwards, he's talking about how he feels like it was destiny to be a Bronco, how much he's loving it here, all those kinds of things. I love to hear that kind of thing. And then the last guy, dude takes a lot of flack. We talked about him in the chat earlier. They love to call pass interference on this man, but Patrick Surtain goes out and he just stands on whatever. He's like, I don't care. Throw at me all you want. Nothing's coming easy. Riley Moss. And I don't care what anybody says. People want to hate on him all they want, but that guy, he's got the memory of a goldfish, just like Bo Nix does. And just, if I have a bad play, move on to the next, and I'm going to beat you the next one. And honestly, he's going to get tested so much, but he's the perfect complement to somebody like Patrick Surtain on the other side. And now that Patrick Surtain is going to be out a little bit, we're going to see even more. He's going to have to start covering number 1. So just keep with it, Riley.
The NFL definitely doesn't officiate him like the rest of the cornerbacks in the NFL. Let's be real about this.
No, it's discriminatory and it's racist because I literally said that in my TikTok
It
comments.
is.
I was like, guys, like this guy, a bunch of people in my TikTok comments are just like, Riley Moss sucks, Riley Moss sucks. And I'm just like, guys, this guy, like, I'm not a blame the refs dude. I am very like hold the Broncos accountable when they make mistakes, but this guy is clearly not being officiated correctly. And there is one reason and one reason only why he is not being officiated correctly. What are your guys' thoughts?
I 100% agree with.
Yeah, I mean, here my thing too though is like I think he's definitely like they target him a lot, especially because he's got kind of that reputation now at this point, which is like unwarranted. But he also looks very at times out of control, which to the point where now I feel like he is in control. It's just how he plays.
Yeah.
But it's almost like everything looks overly extra. So I feel like that's what really makes it pop off. And maybe he should stop wearing the sleeves and just, show that skin tone. Let everybody see it.
Yeah. No, I will not deny that. Like, listen, Riley Moss, it is a wild experience. Okay. Having him play is kind of a wild experience. Like, all these people are just like, well, lowest completion percentage, whatever. I'm just like, dude, this guy's getting flagged a lot. He's getting, a lot of times it is consequential. So I get both sides of the argument, but, he's still our cornerback too. I feel like he has very much answered the bell this year when been called upon. And overall, I'm very happy he's our cornerback too. And I can't wait for the opportunity ahead of him to go up against guys like Nico, go up against guys like Rashee Rice in 3 weeks from now. And we'll just see where that leads us.
Yep. Let's get to some of these comments, man. Hold on. There's a lot of juice happening.
I know, man. I'm loving it.
Firstly, someone said, what's the JG said, what's the likability level of Broncos coach among the Denver diehards?
I had this start. Yeah, let's go around and talk about it.
And I mean, listen, anybody in Broncos country that like doesn't like Sean Payton, they think he's rude or he ruffles feathers or any of that. You're just soft. Like, it's all about the wins. If you're winning games, I love you. If you are not winning games, then I dislike you. So I love Sean Payton. I thought he was the perfect coach for this team. I've always felt like he's the guy that's going to be able to really turn this culture around and get us to ultimately where we need to go. Now, I will say when we first hired him, I viewed him as being more like what John Fox was for us. Better version of John Fox, but in a sense of like he'll kind of right the ship for us, and then maybe we need somebody else to come in and actually win us a championship. I think now that he's definitely got that ability to do it with Bo Nix. But nonetheless, I love Sean Payton, and I love the antics. I love all the little cheesy things that he does. The only thing I wish he would maybe slow down on a little bit is like putting us in the spotlight unnecessarily. But like the whole Russ thing was awesome. Was really good. And there's a Texans fan in here. That's exciting. I'm actually surprised that you guys exist. That's really cool. But no, it's gonna be a tough game. The Texans are a really good squad, but that was really surprising to me because I think I've only met one in my life, and I was pretty sure that he was
around 20 years or so.
I think he was paid to be a Texans fan. It's just like that commercial, with the Irish guy that lives in Ireland and claimed that he was a Texans fan in Ireland. Like, obviously 100% fake. That's kind of where I'm at. But anyways, I'm on a little bit of a rant right now. Let's go through more of these comments and see what else I want to shit on because I'm kind of in the mood.
Can I piggyback real quick on the Sean Payton that comment?
Oh yeah,
Sean Payton to me is like Kodiak wouldn't know about this because he's too young, but like he's Mike Shanahan part 2. Like he is the offensive guy who runs a tight ship and it's his way or the highway. And we needed a culture change. We needed a guy like that. And I don't think people have a problem with like, he'll clap back a little bit at like reporters in the locker room or other things like that. But I think he's not a mean person or an overly egotistical person. I just think he's a little misunderstood. He's a very confident person. He believes in his way, and it's not even his way. It's like the Parcells championship way that has been proven. So like, yeah, I absolutely love the way he runs this team. I think that he gets completely like, because of past things, like the Russ thing gets blown out of proportion. Everything little thing he does gets blown out of proportion, but he is the perfect coach for this type of football team, especially for young guys. And you need, in this day and age, you need to coach with confidence. You need to make decisions with confidence. You look at all these teams that are bad with bad ownership, they all live in their fears and they all are afraid to make a mistake. And Sean Payton is like, I'm going to do it my way. And if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down my way. But you know what? He will adjust. He will see like, oh, this isn't working, or I'm going to go to the strengths of these guys. He lets Vance do his thing. Yeah, I absolutely love the way he coaches and runs his football team.
Yeah. Jeremy, you said it perfectly, man. I love Sean Payton. He's the perfect mix of, cocky, genius, not perfect, but he's the perfect mix of all that for like what you want in your head coach, right? Man, we got a ton of comments in here saying, man, we got some troll. We got Birds fans in here.
I was about to say, how are we getting Dodgers fans? How are we getting Giants fans? How are we getting Eagles fans?
Dude,
I think it's because the Cowboys.
It's because we beat the Cowboys.
Boy, okay.
That's why I guess they're America's algorithm too.
All right.
They are. I even joked about it. They are the best marketing team disguised as a football team in the nation. They really do a wonderful job. There's a troll in here. Somebody saying Bo Nix. What was it? He had a name that he should absolutely change. Elch X Postive. Yeah, I don't know. Change your name, but it says Bo Nix is ass. Let's be honest. He's a game manager and won't win the big games. We just call that guys. That's what we call a very lazy comment. It's just an easy out because it's one of those where again, I can't necessarily sit there and prove that you're wrong in a show. So it's just a lazy take. So I'm not going to give it too much.
Dude, I'll say this, man. Bo Nix, I love game manager Bo Nix. I think if you know ball, dude, being a game manager is what you want from the quarterback, man.
Best game manager ever is Tom Brady. The best game manager. He was the premium game manager.
We had Peyton Manning game manager here. When he had an arm, he broke records, and when he still had his brain and not his arm, man, we still won a Super Bowl with him. So yeah, man, like a game manager is what you want. What kind of bad quarterback is a good game manager?
Yeah, I never understand it.
Well, there were 6 guys drafted last year. Everybody said we were dumb. We got the leftovers. We got 6. Well, guess who's leading all of those rookies in passing yards? Bo Nix. Touchdowns? Bo Nix. And wins? Bo Nix. So if he's ass and he's like a game manager, but he's going to lead all the other rookies that everybody's in love with, fine by me.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say one more thing about Sean Payton. Like, Sean Payton might have done the most impressive turnaround in professional sports like I have ever seen a part of my lifetime, because think about how poverty we were when we got drafted.
Dude, we were the New York Jets, man.
Yeah, we were 4-13. We were 5-12. I forget what we went in the Hackett year. 2022. Then early in 2023, we start 1-5. And then not only our defense that gave up 70 points propelled us to a 5-game win streak where we went on an absolute heater. Yeah, a little bit of it was unsustainable turnovers and takeaways, but Sean Payton has amnesia. And the best thing about Sean Payton's teams is that they have amnesia too. Okay. Last year, so many games, we would just get blown out because honestly, we just didn't have the juice or the firepower to compete with a lot of high-level AFC teams. But then the very next week, we'd be in a dogfight against some of the best teams in the NFL. And you remember last year, the first 2 weeks of Bo Nix's career, ugly. First 2 games were ugly. Then we just go into Tampa and we beat the brakes off a very good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. So it's just good because Sean Payton, he has amnesia, but his teams have amnesia too. And it's for the better. Like, he is one of the best adjustment coaches I've ever seen. So I trust them to get right with this team. And he is just, I love listening to him speak. I love listening to his press conferences. You know, him setting the tone with the Hackett interview, that was one of the best things. I think he said the entire thoughts of Broncos country. So he is amazing. I love the fact that he's a coach.
I got to ask you guys, okay, with Sean Payton's comments saying, I was hoping, well, when he was talking to the John Mara saying, I was hoping you weren't going to play Jackson Dart for a few more weeks. Did you guys see that as a subliminal shot at Russell Wilson, or did you just see it with, hey, him giving praise to Jackson Dart? I want to hear all your thoughts on this, and then I'll give my take.
When I first heard it, I'm not going to lie, I was like, oh, damn, he's still shooting shot at Russ. All right, I kind of thought that, and I laughed about it. And then when I listened to it again, I was like, no, like, I don't think he was even thinking about him in that moment because I started thinking, all right, he just like it was an emotional win. There's a lot of things going on. It's like probably the last thing on his mind really is Russ. And he was talking about John Mara. Obviously, John Mara was recently diagnosed with cancer and he had a history there. So he was talking, he goes, and it got brought up. And I said, you know, I wish that you guys made this change later. So I thought it was really meant to be more of a compliment towards Dart. And then when they asked him about it and he kind of just really nonchalant was like, you know, I didn't even think about it like that. I can understand how he felt that, but it was really more of a compliment on Dart. I felt like that was very genuine. Like, I don't know. Because I feel like if he really meant that, he would have been petty he would have been really petty right back, especially with the comment that Russell Wilson made on his Twitter. But he kind of shot it down and that was the end of it. So I don't think it was an actual shot he wanted to take.
What's funny about that is it's even more disrespectful to be like, actually, I wasn't even thinking about you, Russ. Like, you're so far out of my mind. We're still paying you $37 million or whatever it is. And I'm not even thinking about you. It was a full on compliment to Jackson Dart. I think it was. If you go back and listen to it, I think he like sometimes will tell stories and likes to ramble a little bit. And then he'll kind of wander down a path and then say a comment that actually probably happened to John Mara and was like, and then people are like, oh, shoot. In retrospect, is that a shot? And I honestly just think it was like, I like Jackson Dart so much that I even said this to their owner, you know what I mean? And I just don't even think it went there. But it's hilarious that the one person that Russ would back on and there's a history of Russell Wilson is Sean Payton when it comes to that, when he's completely forgotten about and now he wants to say something. It's just like, okay. But and one other thing, Kodiak, not only has he had the best turnaround, he's done it twice. Like the turnaround he did for the New Orleans Saints was better than even the Broncos turnaround. So like this man knows how to change a culture, change a whole franchise. I mean, if you can turn around the New Orleans Saints from where they were, like, I honestly think you can do anything, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, speaking about the comments towards Russ, I do think it was a little bit of both. I think it was like all right, Jackson Dart is pretty good. And, you know, and Sean Payton is like, whatever. But, you know, once again, we were up against unprecedented circumstances. Okay. We were down 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks because of trading for Russell Wilson. Well, and hiring Nathaniel Hackett too. But we lacked so much firepower on the team over the past few years. And honestly, it's going to hurt us until the guys from the 2022 and 2023 draft cycles are out of the league. But you don't see it on the field every Sunday. You don't see it on the field. It doesn't show up on our roster because this guy is such a good coach. So Russell Wilson, you know, go out there. Your coach thinks so little of you that he violated concussion protocol to get you off the field. Okay. Your coach thinks so little of you that he went into the blue tent, even when you're not allowed to do so. And he checked on Jackson Dart and he literally rushed him back in the game because he knows that his job security is tied to Dart. And he knows that had he gone the entire rest of the season with Russ, you know, he would have been fired. Yeah. So not only does Sean Payton think very little of you, but your coach thinks even more little of you. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, think about like when we got Russ and all of Seattle hated Russ and his former teammates hated Russ and Pete Carroll hated Russ. And then we were all like, as Bronco fans being like, oh, you guys are just jealous. Oh, you guys don't know. It's like we were the new boyfriend of a girl who was toxic and we didn't know it yet, but she's pretty. And we're like, oh no, you guys are just tripping. This is not it. And then we found out and then we're like, oh yeah, you were right. Like he's been hated ever since everywhere he's left, which is crazy for a guy who's like Mr. Do everything right. It just goes to show you like being genuine. People respect you just to speak your mind than to being Mr. Unlimited, Mr. No thoughts to yourself. You know what I mean? So, hey, I wish you well. You made a lot of money. You're married to a very beautiful woman. You have a great life. Good for you. And I'll see you later.
Have fun raising another man's kids. All right, let's transition. But I gotta say this. I had to say this. Russell Wilson losing his Hall of Fame spot makes my soul feel good. Absolutely. I'm petty. That's just how I am, man.
If I ever get any like Seahawks fans that hit me up on Twitter and they say something, I take their opinion very seriously now. I'm like, you guys are right about everything. Any other insider info?
Everything, man. Yeah, they are. Let's talk about this trade season that we're in now. Now, I know, man, there's David Youngkin, man. He will always tell me. He is so consistent in the comments. He's saying, David, we Sean Payton never does this. He never trades for a guy in the middle of the season. But I got to say to you, David, he never drafted a first-round quarterback until Bo Nix, right? Sean Payton is breaking trends here with the Denver Broncos. So let's go to fantasy land for a little bit. Let's talk about some trade targets. Mark, I'll have you lead us off because you did a video on this earlier today on Marquee Sports, and you brought up some names that we haven't talked about in a while or at all. Maybe let's bring up a few of them and talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, the Broncos were in rumors about, like, you know, from Adam Schefter talking about they're really into wanting to trade for a, you know, wide receiver, which was a little bit surprising to me. I'm not really at all a fan of that. And so, yeah.
Sorry, we're booing Respect My Co's off the stage right now. Boo.
Oh, we want Jerry Jeudy back. Yeah, that's like the last. Like, honestly, if they were like, we'll give you Jerry Jeudy in a first-round pick, I would have to think about it before actually accepting it. To be honest, that's how much I don't want Jerry Jeudy back.
Wow.
Or I would accept it and then just cut Jerry Jeudy if I could. But anyways, that's just me trolling more than anything. But I don't really like the idea of a wide receiver. I don't think it makes sense. I mean, I like where we're at, but if we're going to talk about wide receivers that make sense, you had mentioned earlier Chris Olave. I'm concerned about Chris Olave because you got to pay him after the season.
Yes.
Probably a lot. And I think he's one concussion away from it being a really bad problem after what happened to him last year. Otherwise, he's a phenomenal player.
Mm-hmm.
But tight end, man, tight end is absolutely a position we have to address. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to address it. The injury to Nate Atkins this past Sunday, it doesn't look like it's that serious, but it's a stark reminder that we are one injury away. And then all of a sudden, Adam Trautman's going to be really relevant. And, you know, if he is injured for a while, we basically just have Trautman and Ingram right now. That's it.
Yeah.
Caleb Lohner is not going to contribute anything this year. And we don't have anyone else. Kroll's out for the year. So, yes, we need to address it. And obviously, Mark Andrews, David Njoku are two guys that make a ton of sense. David Njoku being, in my opinion, the most likely of the upper tier available tight ends. So I'd love to see David Njoku. But, man, sign me up and put me in the camp of Taysom Hill coming.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he makes so much sense for where we're at. He fills in holes at like 5 different positions. He can play special teams. He can punt. He can return punts and kicks, and he can cover. He can play fullback. He can play backup quarterback. He can play tight end. To be honest with you, man, you could make a case that like he's worthy of being talked about as a player that could, this is going to sound crazy, but could go into the Hall of Fame because of just his unbelievable versatility that he's got. I mean, think about what he's done. It's pretty crazy. Not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's extremely versatile, and obviously he's a shell of himself still, but sign me up for Taysom Hill. I would really like that this year in Denver.
Dude, Taysom Hill would be freaking awesome, man. I'm with
It'd
you
be
on
fun.
that.
Nah, he
Kodiak,
shit bad
man.
take. He's like 31, isn't he? Or like 34, but he started playing when he was 27, so he ain't that old.
Dude, he's the perfect depth
35.
tight end for this. He's
I
the
think he's
perfect depth
35.
tight end for this roster, man. And he's going to cost pennies, man. He's going to be absolute pennies.
Yeah, he's 35, but he started playing in the NFL when he was like 27, I think, or 26. So,
Dude, I know people hate Taysom Hill for fantasy purposes, but when you're just looking at the, like, I don't know why you wouldn't want him on your team, right?
I like how a week ago we were like, Sean, enough with the tricky stuff. Let's just get to the basics. And then we're like, get Taysom Hill.
Literally. No, but
hey, at least he's good at doing the tricky shit.
That's
with Taysom
true.
Hill,
If you're going to do the tricky stuff. Yep.
I prefer Olave for a 4th round.
Yeah,
pick. Oh,
okay.
my God.
Sure.
yeah, why not? At that price. All right, Mark, at that price, are you concerned?
What? I mean, would you like? I would just give him back the pick that we got for
Vele?
Vele,
what's his
dude.
name, for Vele. Yeah, I would do it.
Vele
No,
for Olave,
like I said,
dude.
I would love to do it, but under the assumption that it could be just a rental. But I still don't. Who are you gonna cut?
Exactly.
Who are you going to
You know what
cut
I mean?
for? In the wide receiver group? Trent Sherfield?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you can
yeah,
you
you'd
can
have
you
to.
can make the argument Sherfield, obviously, but he still gives you a lot of like special teams play. We can get by with it, but it's like,
Yeah.
man,
That's why you trade for Taysom
I
Hill
just
with
look
him.
at it like you're taking away opportunities from guys that are really starting to hit their stride, especially Troy Franklin. So
Yeah.
I'd still
Yeah,
be down though, because he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially, we need an inline guy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Troutman has been on the short list of probably the worst players on this team this year, in my opinion.
Dude,
Like,
that pick route, he ran awful technique, awful effort.
it was
terrible.
Obvious. Yeah, it's terrible. And like, I'm not even mad about that, but I just feel like he's played really poor throughout this whole season. Okay. I just feel like, he cemented himself as a quality role player in 23 and 24, but it's been ugly so far this season. So yeah, inline guy, Njoku with the emergence of Harold Fannin, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But this is a reminder, next year, when we have clear and obvious holes on this team, we cannot go without addressing them. Okay. Inside linebacker and tight end, we need to fill out those position groups as well. So yes, this is just a stark reminder for that. But I do agree that receiver is fine for now. Could we upgrade? Sure, potentially, but tight end is an absolute must address. I'm really sad that Prescoring got signed today by Cleveland, because I felt like he could have helped us. I feel like he really could have helped us, replace Nate Adkins. But
yes,
oh well, such is life.
Yeah, I got another name for y'all. Oh, actually, unless Jeremy wanted to say something else, or David.
The one name I had that I heard that somebody threw out, and if that's even possible, would be amazing, is TJ Hawkinson. Just if Minnesota's their sellers, but yeah, I mean, I would be in on that.
There's just a lot. Yeah, I don't know if they trade him. They're probably going to ask for a high pick. His cap numbers is crazy for the coming years. I mean, you can redo it, but I would like TJ Hawkinson because I feel like that would be a short and long-term solution, but I just don't see it to be very realistic. What about Chig Okonkwo? Andy wasn't a fan because he said he couldn't really block, which if Andy says it, I believe it. But 26 years old, you've seen the guy has some juice. I kind of like Chig Okonkwo.
The problem is, if a guy doesn't give a lot of effort, they're not going to be on Sean Payton's whatever. Kyle Pitts, if we traded for Kyle Pitts, that'd be a huge waste of resources. Not because I don't believe in him or whatever, but it would just be Sean Payton would never get along with a guy of that caliber who just doesn't block or whatever. So, if Chig Okonkwo's in that realm, then, then I don't really like it, because there would be nothing worse to give assets for a player and then Troutman just still outsnap them.
Yeah, and Atkins is the opposite of that. It's like he might not be the most talented and nobody knows, but it's all effort. It's all the intangible stuff that makes him get on the field and makes him our second best tight end. So you're right. Sean Payton just loves those guys that give effort. That's why Pat Bryant is a 3rd-round pick when a lot of people thought he was going to be a 6th-round pick, and he's proven him right. So what would you guys, this was floated out and the Jaguars have gone back on this, but Brian Thomas Jr., would you be willing, what would you be willing, or would you be willing to trade up for him?
1st-round pick.
Yeah, it would be a first.
It's the conversation, I think Ryan Edwards put out a tweet, I'd maybe give a first. I'm like, dude, that's not getting done without a first and something. BTJ, even though he's played really poorly this year,
I was gonna say he leads the league, or he leading the league in drops or whatever.
He has not had a good year, but a lot of it is because the Jaguars' passing scheme is a total mess right now. But yeah, you're not getting that done without he had one of the best ends to a rookie wide receiver season ever. So they're obviously high on him. They took him 20th overall the year before, and they're not just going to give up on a guy who had a historic rookie season that quickly. So I'm willing to do it. I would 1000% give a 1st and a 3rd, but and even then, I don't think that's enough. But we'll see.
Dude, this guy's on a rookie deal for how many more years?
3.
Dude, he could be amazing here. And people are saying, well, the drops. We don't need anybody who drops the ball more. Well, I'll tell you what. Over one of these guys right now that we got on the team that drops the ball, I would rather at least have the guy be elite too, if he's going to drop the ball. Because then if you're elite when you're catching the ball, at least you're making bigger plays. But he could be like DT, man. He could be amazing out here. 6'4". I would love it, man. But
and in 3 years, when you have to pay him the big bucks, that's
Yes.
Cortland's
Son.
3 years older, so you can move that money over there.
Yeah, it would be perfect. But honestly, though, we talked about this Kodiak. We probably should spend our top picks on the trenches.
Yeah.
It's probably where they need to go. Oh, sweet. Blue Jays just scored. I'm not even following baseball much, but yeah, what if they elevate A.T. Perry? I know this isn't a serious one, but I'm going to treat it like a serious one. This should have happened week 1, man. We would be undefeated with A.T. Perry on this roster right now, man. I'll tell you right now, he's a sleeping giant. And we got Trent Sherfield elevated above him, man. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what about Dondrea Tillman, man, taking some tight end reps? You saw that return that he had?
Dude, soft hand.
He got a little wiggle.
He said he played tight end.
250.
Yeah, he said he used to play tight end, so it makes sense.
He's got way more juice than Troutman.
Way more. That's no doubt about that. Juice.
Yeah, and then other guys that I mentioned were like kind of lower no-name guys, but that would kind of fit the mold. One of them is Jeremy Ruckert. I think Eli Betts could tell us a little bit about him being on the Jets. He's strictly a blocking tight end, but a very, very good one. And he's still very young. But one of the better run blocking tight ends in the NFL per PFF. So I was kind of looking at that, but I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. Kind of, there's Chris Manhertz, right? We had him. The Giants are probably having a fire sale. You could have him basically for free, potentially. He could be someone that would make sense. It's not going to make anybody excited. But I think if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be something along those lines of like a back end of the roster guy or sign some guys off the practice squad. Gage from Broncos Syndicate had a really good tweet today too, kind of talking about some potential guys on practice squads that we can look to swoop. So we'll see. I think we'll make a move, some sort of a move, at least a corresponding move when it pertains to PS2 in the coming days. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he had Luke Lachey on there. But if Giants are having yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, bro, I'm not giving sun chips. I love sun chips. I ain't giving you no sun chips for Ruckert, but you can have another chip if you want.
Dude, tomato sun chips. I think tomato sun chips are more valuable than Jeremy Ruckert.
Man, what does that make our tight end room right now?
Oh shit.
Honestly, bro, if the Jets are saying that though, that means they're definitely wrong. Have you seen what the Jets do? They make every poor decision. So
they just win,
that actually makes me really happy. I feel like Jeremy Ruckert will come here and ball out.
Dude, Eli, I hope you felt great after the Jets getting that win for Nick Mangold, man. Mark, did you watch that Jets game?
No.
No,
I didn't catch the end of it. I had a soccer game.
Oh, it's okay. All right. Sorry for getting us off track. But okay, if I had to like rank these guys like in a vacuum, I'll go after Mark Andrews first. If you can get him, that's fantastic. If you can't get him, you get Taysom Hill. If you can't get him, you go and get Jeremy Ruckert. If you can't get him, well, actually, I'll put him ahead. Cole Kmet, dude. I feel like this guy should be available for the Bears. The problem is that Colston Loveland is getting penalties like crazy. So I feel like Ben Johnson starting to lose trust in him, dude. False starts, holds, legal procedures, all these things, dude. Colston Loveland, a Michigan guy, having problems with the pre-snap penalties. But if he could get that together here before the trade deadline, that would be great because I'm sure Chicago wants to move off of him.
Well, give a first for Colston Loveland.
I don't know why they want to move away from him though. He's just all he's done is do well.
Yeah, he's always been. Yeah,
I like Colton, that dude. But yeah, when you draft at number 10 overall, a tight end, the expectations change, man. But Njoku would be amazing.
Yeah, Njoku,
no doubt about it.
Somebody floated out Daniel Bellinger from the Giants if they have a fire sale as well. He had some nice catches on us.
He burned
He's
us.
a really good blocker too.
Mm-hmm. And then there was one other.
Hell, even with the Dallas Cowboys, Schoonmaker, I like that guy.
Oh, the other one I was thinking is if the Cowboys go into sale mode, Brevin Spanford, he's playing angry
I don't think there's a chance.
They're not going to give it up.
They get rid of him.
Yeah.
With Hufanga, him fighting Hufanga yesterday, I was like, dang.
I know. I like both of their attitudes.
Yeah, I like the intensity, especially for knowing that you're going to get destroyed and still like.
He's like a second-year guy. I remember they were talking about him at the Senior Bowl. I think it was last year. He came out of Minnesota, and they were saying that he even had like a lot of receiving chops. But apparently, he's like the best blocking tight end, like literally ranked as the best blocking tight end as well. So those guys don't just become available, especially when they're young and cheap. But he would be awesome. Brevin Sponford would be awesome. We had our chance, guys. We decided to go with a kicker and a basketball player. We had our chance.
Whoa,
There's so many guys we could have gotten.
The kicker, the punter is
Or a
playing
punter.
well. He's playing
I
well.
don't care. I don't care.
He's our starting punter, dude.
I don't care how good he is.
Punter.
He's a punter.
He's
It doesn't matter.
He's carried us these first 7 games up until this week. He was punting a lot.
Bro, there's a
We
lot of
needed
guys you can find that could punt.
Dude,
a little bit worse.
Damian Martinez is still available right now. I don't even think he's on a practice squad right now.
Audric Estime is available.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Loner? Oh, yeah, Loner. I forgot. Loner was not even on the team right now.
He's a practice squad guy, yeah.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say Albert Okwuegbunam.
Yeah,
sure he's,
Okwuegbunam, I mean, we're not going to go back down those kind of players. But, like I said, I mean, we had our shot to address the tight end position from Arondé Gatson all the way through. And we're just we look for a particular type of tight end, which is fine. Luke Lachey is actually a name that Gage brought up. So Luke Lachey was drafted this year. I think if I remember, he was a pretty decent blocker at Iowa. But the cool thing is he's on the Texans practice squad. So if you signed him, it's kind of a win-win because he could be depth. Plus, we're playing Houston this week.
Dude, I love Luke Lachey, man. I was a big fan of him in the draft.
Yeah. Nick Lachey's brother, So.
Dude, how about the fail of a season Love is Blind Denver was? Let's talk about
Dude. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of options. We'll see. The Broncos could maybe make a move for a cornerback too. Now with the PS2 injury, we gotta have a depth guy somewhere. So
I would imagine we elevate Jaden Robinson, right, from the practice squad. Like
that would make sense.
I know Andy thinks he goes on IR. I think he probably does, but to your point, Mark, like if this isn't as serious, maybe as some of the speculation is, like I think you could just use 3 elevations on Jaden Robinson.
Yeah,
and
bro,
then
George
Pat
Payton
back after the bye.
George Payton was salivating. He's salivating, like looking at the trade market for corners. He loves cornerbacks, dude. Nobody loves cornerbacks. We
really are going to trade for a corner instead.
Nobody loves corners more than George Payton. I mean, we kept bringing on corners on our practice squad or like, at the back end of the roster for training camp all off season. It was like, we're trying this new corner. This other corner came from the XFL or whatever. Constantly. Like we had like no depth at tight end and inside linebacker. He's like, I don't give a shit. We're going with corner. He loves corners, dude. And so that wouldn't surprise me. I'm just trying to go based off of like what I think these guys would do.
Damari Mathis back?
Little Toast? Bring back Little Toast?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did. That's right. He's got a rap career anyways.
Yeah. I'm down, bro. Once he releases his mixtape, he'll be free and clear. He'll be in a good headspace.
All right. Before we get to Jeremy's rant here in our final segment, Maiko, fan tuning in from Boston. That's what's up. Wondering how's Barron coming along? Mark, I think you gave a great assessment of it earlier in the show, but why don't you just summarize it real quick? How impressed were you with Jahdae Barron and his play yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I've honestly been impressed with him all year. He's just gotten really limited work, but really sticky coverage yesterday on Jake Ferguson. It was cool that it seemed like his particular role was to guard the tight end, which I liked. But I think Jahdae Barron is just a really good player, man. I think he's amazing in the run game. The fact that he could play inside and outside is awesome. And as much as I love Chris Abrams-Drain, a big part of me wants to see Jahdae get the start. I don't think he will, but I really want to see what he can do because I just feel like so confident in the type of player that he is and the prospect that he was. I think that there's a lot more upside there. But I think so far he's been really good. He just hasn't been playing that much. And that's right, Damari Mathis did tear his ACL. But yeah, I love Jahdae Barron, and I think, I hope he plays a lot more, and I hope he plays very well because I think it'll really help justify the pick that sometimes you got to take best player available for situations like this.
All right, Jeremy.
All right. Well, my rant's going to be short, so we can squeeze in some giddy up, hold your horses really quick.
I totally blanked on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I got 3 questions. Start with you, David. Giddy up, offense is legit, or hold your horses. The Cowboy D is really that bad.
Man, I gotta giddy up on this one. I gotta giddy up on this one, dude. What's been stopping this offense? It's been ourselves. Now the Cowboys, they're a get right game for every NFL offense that they face. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But this offense has had the parts, they've had the keys, they've had all the pieces. They just need to put them together, put the right keys in the right locks, so to speak. They did that. We don't have to run a Tim Tebow offense. We don't have to run a Russ Wilson offense for 3 quarters, because then we have legendary comebacks when we don't, against the Eagles, against the Giants. And when we start out playing our game, having short memory, doing what makes sense with our offense and our quarterback, we hang up 44 on a team that we should have hung up 40 plus on. So our offense is good, and you will see it get better, even better as the year goes on.
I like it. And I was listening to you guys' post game yesterday. Zach Seegers was saying something like, "Oh, this felt like the first game that Sean Payton trusted Bo Nix to really throw it and unleash it." And I'm like, dude, we've been begging for them to run it all season. He's obviously trusts Bo Nix. Like, that's what he does. He has 100% confidence in Bo Nix. And if Bo Nix can, play anywhere close to that, the way he's played the last 5 quarters, like, the sky is the absolute limit. Thank you, Richie. All right, Kodiak, we're going to go to you. The defensive backfield is panicking after the PS2 injury.
I would hold my horses on this one. Like, I don't think they're panicking per se, but, I think a lot of them will be excited for the opportunity, okay? What were we saying all offseason? Okay, deepest edge room in football and one of the deepest corner rooms in football. So I think the guys like Abrams Drained, I think the guys like Barron, even though you don't want a guy like Patrick Surtain to ever go down, and, you didn't draft Barron with the intent to replace Patrick Surtain, now you have a big opportunity. I think a lot of these corners are going to look forward to the opportunity. I don't think any of them are panicking. That's just not how the NFL works. It's not how professional sports works. It's got to be a next man up mentality. And I think, Jim Leonard's telling those guys right now, hey, be ready. Jahdae Barron, you might be going one-on-one with Nico Collins. Riley Moss, you're going to have Nico Collins for a lot of the game. Whoever, you're going to have to step it up or whatever while Patrick Surtain's out. So, no, I don't think they're panicking.
I agree. I think, sometimes these things, it's interesting when things happen and when certain people get hurt and all that. And I felt good about the way that those guys responded in the second half of yesterday's game. Like, you're going up against the best offense in the league, and, Ferguson doesn't get a catch. Pickens got a little, CD got a little, but not much. And you kept them to 17 points and you had, 2 turnovers. So I think they're excited about the challenge, honestly. And Mark, last one for you. The Paytons, Sean and George, struck gold with the 2025 rookie class.
Hold your horses on that. Hold your horses on. Well, firstly, you can't really judge a rookie class until like a few years out. But if they really struck gold, we wouldn't have these major concerns like I do about depth tight end, maybe depth running back or anything like that. So I thought they did a really good job. I love Pat Bryant. I love Jahdae Barron. I think that they're phenomenal. I think RJ Harvey's coming into his own. We'll see with him, but I think he's going to be really good. But no, I don't think they necessarily struck gold. You still got a lot of guys that I think have really good futures that you certainly can't judge now. They're not even getting jerseys, and Savion Jones and Q Robinson. So no, I don't think they have struck gold quite yet, but I think it's an overall pretty solid class based on how it's trending.
Okay. I think we have like in the mining business, there's a mineral assessment where you don't know what you exactly have, but you take a sample and then you test that sample, and that sample has come back looking very good so far. So I'm going to say about this rookie class.
It has.
especially.
And in terms of the underdogs against Houston, we were favorites. We were 1.5-point favorites, and the line swayed a lot. A lot of Denver money.
I see on like half of the sports books right now with Vegas Insider, Broncos are like +1, +1.5.
Yeah, it was -1.5, I think, to open. That being said, I'll say I do disagree with David's take a little bit on terms of the offense.
That's
because I think it's a buttery offense. You look at the Cowboys. Just go look at the Cowboys' opponents and how much their opponents scored, and who their opponents were. Right, everybody scored a lot of points on them. It's not to take anything away, but this week is going to be a real test. The Texans, like it or not, the Texans have the best defense in the NFL. They do, and so this is going to be a real test for the Broncos, for Bo Nix. How do you respond when your run game is not going? How do you respond when you have to, you're going to have sticky coverage and you have tight windows and you're going to have a lot more pressure coming at you this week? That's why this is going to be a really big test game for where this Broncos offense is. It's awesome that we had a really good game because it brings us some momentum, but a completely different opponent in every way. Even though we're in the same state, I'm excited to see this game against Houston. I think it's going to be tough though, man.
Very much. Yeah, they're giving up 13 points a game or something like that. Offhand, the 49ers are inevitable, and they beat them pretty good yesterday. So it's going to be a fun game, man. I cannot wait and see how these young corners go up against a very good young wide receiver group in Houston as well. So, all right, Jeremy, I cannot wait. You said you got to get something off your chest. It's a message for Broncos country, not Raider Nation, not whatever the Chief Kingdom is, whatever. It's for Broncos country. So give it to us, man.
Well, it's an open forum for everybody, but specifically to the fans and the people in Broncos country. I'm so tired of the fact that every Friday going into a big game, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's the Giants, and then now whether it was the Cowboys, the theme of the show is one thing, and then we respond and come out with the win, and they make an excuse. We put it on the Philadelphia Eagles in the clutch, and then all of a sudden it's what's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles defense? Not, oh, good job, Broncos. It's what's wrong with Philadelphia. Same with the Giants. Giants collapse? Nope. It's not a Broncos win. It's a Giants collapse. Cowboys, look how great their offense is. Is Bo Nix going to be able to hang with them? Oh, well, we put up 44 points. Absolutely drag them, and it's like, oh, they're so pathetic. The Dallas defense sucks. So here's my whole point: is Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and the Denver Broncos, we have a flowers allergy, and that's a good thing. By what I mean is, they're not going to give us flowers, and you know what? I don't want them at this point. I don't need Skip and all these people coming in and saying Nick Wright is never going to ever. I don't care if we win back-to-back Super Bowls. He's never going to admit Bo Nix is awesome. He's never going to do that. So we got to just quit with the, oh, when's this going to happen? Was he going to say it this week? Screw him. Screw him. If the girl's not interested in you, you move on. You don't keep, maybe this week. And it's just, I understand we all want validation. We all want to be the team where we had Peyton Manning, we had John Elway, and we were like everybody's favorite for a little bit there. But you know what? It's so much better to be the Strokes than it is to be Coldplay, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to be the guy the team that everybody loves, but it's so much better to be like, no, if you know, and that's who the Denver Broncos are. And we got to love that.
That's beautiful, man.
Well said.
Let's go get this win. They'll just be talking about how bad the Texans are.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Yeah, Cody, what were you going to say?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Once again, I think we're just one of those teams that we do better once we're out of the national spotlight. So you remember the entire Super Bowl 50 year. I remember being 14 years old. I remember being a freshman. I remember reading Bleacher Report in the first period of every class. And I remember seeing every time they would predict the Broncos to lose. Oh, the Steelers are going to beat us, even though they had no one that week. Oh, the Patriots are going to beat us. I remember I saw some guy predict 28-13 or whatever. And then everybody being like, Carolina's going to beat us. No. If you know how we do things around here in Broncos country, you know that we got the faith in our players to take care of it. on the field. And that's
14-point dogs versus the Packers in Super Bowl 32.
That's right.
Yeah.
Won the game. So.
14 point. Dude, actually, so sometimes when I stay up late, might pop a gummy or whatever. You know what I've been watching right now? The divisional AFC game against the Chiefs in '97, man.
Good game.
Man. That's been a fun one to go through. So then after that, got the Steelers and then the Super Bowl. So I should make it through this month, I think.
Don't skip out on that Jaguar game too. That was a fun one because that was the revenge of '96 game that led to the Chiefs game. I was working at a shoe store and I had to work on Sundays like a freaking idiot. And luckily the shoe store had a huge screen TV. So I got to watch that whole Chiefs game because there was nobody in there. And I remember coming down to that last play where we tipped the ball away, and the manager of this whole store, he had wadded up a piece of paper because he was so nervous, and he threw it at the screen like in celebration. And I just was like, why am I working on the Broncos divisional game? It was insane, but man, that was
your epiphany moment. Like, I'm never working a Sunday again, ever.
After that, I never. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you're
never.
right.
Never, man. Yeah, we need a tight end like Shannon Sharp here, but I'm glad we got Evan Ingram. Best
we
one.
We could even use Dwayne Carswell, to be honest with you,
dude. Right?
Byron Chamberlain.
Watching this Broncos offense in '97, it's been interesting, like hearing the commentary because they're like Mike Shanahan, offensive genius. He's innovating how offense is being played now in the NFL, and now half the league runs his offense,
yep.
Or it's more than half the league probably,
and still not a Hall of Famer.
Put that man in the Hall, man.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
I know. It's gotta wait. Did they already vote for this year yet?
He's made it through.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he ends up actually making it, but it's looking promising. I think that there's no way that they can pass on him again. That'd be crazy.
No way. All right, guys, we're gonna shut this thing down. Chiefs blow out the Commanders. Freaking Commanders, do they suck? Guys, quickly, Mark, Kodiak, anything going on your channels this week? Y'all, please go subscribe to everybody, including Jeremy. I think you got it streaming on your channel too.
I do.
So go subscribe. But yeah, Mark, what you got going on this week?
I think I'm going to get back into doing some film reviews. There was so many different plays that I really wanted to break down from this last week's game. Maybe they'll demonetize the videos or whatever, but it's all good. I enjoy doing them. But definitely going to deep dive into the Texans like we always do, looking for a Texans insider that's willing to get on the channel to talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to talk about this Texans game. A lot riding on it, a lot more than I think people think. It's going to be a very, very difficult challenge. I think it's going to be the hardest game we have played yet to date. But yeah, that's pretty much what the rest of the week's going to look like before Sunday.
Kodiak?
Well, if you guys know me, most of my stuff is on TikTok now at Kodiak Broncos. I think I'm at almost 1,500 on TikTok, which has well surpassed my YouTube account. So if you guys want to join the discussion, like I'm going to update you guys once we find out officially what Surtain's injury is, go over there. But also in my post-game recap yesterday, if you want to join the Riley Moss discourse that happens between our TikTok fan base, whether you think he sucks, whether you think he's great, hop on over there. Give me a follow at Kodiak Broncos. And yes, while you're there, two guys are listed in my bio as well. It's David, it's Mark. So go check them out too.
Thank you. Richie's asking Mark, where'd you get the cowboy hat? The Broncos Cowboys hat.
Well, I just got it from, it was Jeremy told me about the store Rally House, the one in Castle Rock. They have them everywhere, so you can get them. They have some ones that had like glitter on them, so you can get them for your ladies too. But I felt like it was fitting. I wanted something to wear for the show, and the fact that we beat the Cowboys, I thought it was only fitting to buy a cowboy hat. So that's why I did.
Looks way better than a cowboy hat. Jeremy, any other stuff going on your channel?
No, not really. I actually went in and saw Kodiak this week at his his business place. Yeah. I surprised him. I didn't.
Good?
What's that? Yeah. He wasn't my waiter, but yeah. But like I surprised him. I walked in and he was very like, "Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Nice, thanks for." And then he was like double taking, like, "No way!" So yeah,
I didn't
Took him a
realize
minute.
Jeremy was 6'6". Like I met Mark, and I
yeah.
didn't know Mark was like as tall as he was either. But Jeremy's 6'6".
I'm
I
not
didn't know
tall.
that.
Yeah, I knew. I figured Jeremy was tall. I didn't think he was. But how tall are you?
I'm like 6'1".
Yeah,
Oh,
no, he was
damn,
tall.
that's still tall.
And I'm
but
short.
but yeah,
Do you have
no, that
longer?
was-
Do you have longer arms than Riley Moss? Did you
Oh,
measure?
I
it?
do.
dude, that's the one thing. My wingspan playing basketball was my secret weapon for sure.
Yeah, me too. I got crazy long arms for my height.
Yeah.
I'll give him to Riley if he ever needs them.
But
Little
yeah,
dinosaur man.
seeing Kodiak in the flesh was awesome. So yeah, I was talking to him and saying, yeah, I got to start doing some shorts because that's something I could do quickly whenever something pops up in my head and get on that train. I'm not on TikTok, but maybe I should be.
Yes. Get on
I did a short
TikTok.
today. She has like, you can get a lot of views from those, man. That's crazy.
You do.
Yes, you can. All right, guys, we're going to shut this thing down. Thanks to all the new people in the chat. You guys made this fun, including
for
OG
sure.
Texan fan. It's going to be a Broncos crowd there in Houston, no doubt about it. Going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, we'll be back to talk about the whole game, hopefully the win, next week at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And until then, go Broncos.
Go Broncos.